Okay guys, here's an update on my battery build for my scooter. I have gone back from 48 volt system to 60 volt for more power. These are multiple battery packs. 2 battery packs there in the deck and 3rd battery pack in the external battery bag here. That's the battery pack there. So 16S8P. These are Chinese cells. EVE 20P, I believe. This is the same battery pack that I was using for my shed, for my home power source over there. I had it on there, been using it for a pretty long time because I couldn't get it to fit in my scooter, so I was using it for my power source. But after I got the battery back, I was able to put that in here. So that's the story with that. And that's about 5 months old. And I've been using it in my scooter for about over 2 months, 2.5 months maybe, 2.5-ish. This video is to show you the reliability of these batteries, to see how well they hold up without failing. That's the purpose of this video. And this is the oldest one. This battery pack does not have a BMS, neither one of these. This is over 3 months old. And this is a newer one. About, how long has it been? About 2 months or less? Less than 2 months old. And all these 3 battery packs are connected in parallel. Now you are asking, why did I build separate battery packs? Because I could not afford it. I cannot afford to buy all these cells at one time. So I had to build small battery pack at a time, which is why I have multiple battery packs. And they're all working great. And the range has increased. God told me that it should be over 100 miles, over 100 miles range. And I did actually test it riding my scooter to my parents' place, which is 60-mile round trip. And it has no trouble with that. The wires are done. Parallel connection. Just to quickly overview, I don't want to pull out the wires because it took a lot of work getting all these wires in here. It's a lot of work. But I mentioned it last time, how the wires are connected. They're pretty simple. Using connectors like this, these typical ones, you know, the bullet connector, like this. It works for my needs, although they're not designed for high current discharge. It has been working fine without any problems. Because each battery packs are using those connectors, each battery packs have those connectors connected to the master wires. So it helps reduce any kind of stress. Instead of having one connector and one for positive and negative for all these batteries, separate them into smaller battery packs. It helps distribute the stress, to reduce stress, which works great because I have no problems with it. I have been using this setup for quite a while now without any problems, and they don't have a BMS. That one has BMS. I will tell you more about that later. The master wires come from this controller here, positive and negative here. And these are, you want to use something like a 12 gauge wire for that. And the wires have multiple outputs, each master wires. They're about maybe 10 inches long, maybe 8 inches, 10 inches long. And it's like a tree branch effect. It has branches, and that master wire acts as a tree, connect to the controller, because it's a pure copper wire, 12 gauge. And it has multiple connectors connected to the ends of the branch. And that's how these batteries are connected. I mentioned that in my previous video. So it's working great. Right now 65.7 volt. It's a 60 volt system. That's a gear 1. I keep it at gear 1 just for best fuel efficiency for batteries. And the power is amazing. It's got a lot of torque. It takes off like a car, even though it's powering to the rear motor only. I don't have motor in the front. It's a rear wheel drive. And that's a 48 volt motor running at 60 volt system. So the motor generates less power, something I found out. So that's the limiting factor, but it has been working fine. It never broke on me. Batteries are pretty much tested reliable. It did not go bad. Something I need to mention, I had to use, well, first of all, I had to go back to spot welding technique, because using spot welder, those typical spot welder, $50 ones, and I spot weld them using nickel strips. These are supposed to be high-grade nickel strips, not the fake ones. And it's a double layer on the ends, positive, negative, and positive terminal ends. And the inner part of the parallels are single layer. I don't have to go real thick on those, because it's not going to draw much power anyway. Because I have too many battery packs. I got 1, 2, and 3. Okay? And plus my controller is only drawing less than 50 amp. That's at full throttle, which I don't even use. For my needs, this is perfect. If you're talking greater amp draw, current draw, you would need to go thicker, probably at least 2 layers in the inner part, 3 layers on the ends. And I had to use solder technique to connect the wires to the batteries. There's no other better way, because these fucking criminals, they sell fake silver for the silver epoxy. I just cancel that route, because it's no good. Those silver epoxy are fake. The color changes, turning yellow in about a couple weeks of use, less than 2 weeks. And then after a while, it drops connectivity, it disconnects. Hence, battery stops working. Typical wiring technique like this. Like that. I built this battery pack for my home use. This is perfect for this application. I have multiple wires connected for these big battery packs. I cannot show you here from this angle because it's on the bottom side. There are two 18 or 20 gauge copper wires, 4 copper wires, 2 copper wires soldered to each end terminal, negative and positive, for each battery pack. It's more than sufficient. I did not have any problems, overheating, like wires overheating and burn up. Nothing has happened like that. And it's fast enough. I can go about 50 at best, around 47, about 50, over 50 miles per hour with 48 volt motor. So that tells you that's got a lot of power. Range is terrific. I just wanted to share that. And this cabling comes down from here. Damn it. There. And everything has connectors. See? It's on plug and play. Disconnect easily, make it connect, disconnect. Anytime I want. All these are the same way, interconnectable. I can connect or disconnect using that tree branch style technique. That's about it. I just wanted to share that. And that's my new battery source setup with AC inverter. So everything is set up there good. I got plenty of batteries, 3 battery packs. This one, that one, and the blue Chinese battery pack. This is the battery pack right here, the white one. That's the one I was using previously for my scooter over here. I removed that and replaced with this one to make it all the same. One thing I need to mention, these battery cells, Samsung 40T, especially Samsung 40T cells. By the way, these are not genuine. These are fake. It's virtually, well, it's not virtually. For the general public, it's virtually impossible to get the genuine Samsung 40T cells. They're much better. Built very tough, and they're designed for high discharge and charging. They can take a lot of beating. That's how batteries should be built. These fake ones are very sensitive. It cannot take any kind of overvolting. They break very easily. That's what happened to me in the past. I had to go through that trials and errors. And I could not understand why these cells fail so easily. Because at the time I was overvolting it to 4.4 to maybe 4.45 volt per cell. Even though they are 4.2 volt. They are 4.2 volt rated full charge. That's what happened to these batteries. Even just a little bit over 4.2 volts, they are not reliable. They tend to break, but not the other cells. Like that one over there. Because I tested it. Those cells, Chinese EVE 20P cells, they're built tough. Even I was doing feeding 60 volts through each cell for testing. 60 volts through a 3.6 volt cell. And it survived. I charged it for 2-3 hours and it did not die. That tells you how tough they are built. That's the way the battery should be. Not this sensitive battery like that. Anyway, trouble has stopped. It's working fine. Make sure that you don't overvolt this. If you have a 60 volt, you're building a 60 volt battery pack, just use a 67.2 volt charger, then you have no problem. You don't need BMS. As long as you are using the right charger, there's no problem to it. I had troubles because I was going through trials and errors, experimentation. Basically, it's experimentation on my scooter. What would work if I do this? What would happen if I do that? I had to go through a lot of it using my solar panel system. Because I can adjust the voltage I want to charge these batteries. Anyway, no sign, no troubles. That's over 3 months old. That's about 2 months old. No trouble with this battery. It's been running fine. I just wanted to share that. What else do I need to cover? Oh, when you do a parallel connection, therefore, I would not advise to use Y splitter. When you make, if you want to go this route, plug and simply unplug or unplug by making these plugs. Don't make, I would not advise to make Y split cables. It's going to add too much stress for this metal here. This may not be able to handle it well. It's going to overheat. That's why I use that tree branch style, because that pure copper wire, 12 gauge copper wire, will be able to handle all that with multiple connectors, feeding power through that wire to power the controller. Alright, I guess that's about it. I've been loving it. The power is so good. It's so effortless. Oh, and for my future, I'm going to be building big battery pack and install it mounted on my trailer, probably in the front part, for long range ride and for carrying heavy stuff. Cause I'll be riding my scooter to get to my parents' house long way, more reliably, without even needing a charge. Just for more power to go, so that I can go faster. Alright, I gotta go. Hope this helps. Alright, take care.